Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth edition of BIM Talks. Today, we have a very special guest, an old friend, somebody whom we've worked with in the past, somebody who's so very well known in the BIM industry. The moment I say Brian, everybody says Brian Skripak. He's been a presenter, he's been one of the moderators of various panels. He's talked at almost every show. By introducing him, for those people who don't know him or have not met him, Brian, as Director of Virtual Design and Construction, VDC, is responsible for shaping how VDC brings optimal benefits to design build's whole team approach to project delivery. Brian is a digital construction innovator with nearly 20 years of leadership, defining how people, process, and technology come together to transform collaborative project delivery. In addition, he leads the creation and advancement of best practices related to the integration of BIM-enabled technologies and other innovative digital tools to enhance design build performance, and while generating significant benefits for projects across the build environment. Brian is today the director of VDC at the DBIA, the Design Build Institute of America. And on their press release, when they brought him on board, they said, BIM VDC digital strategy is innovative with more than 15 years of leadership defining how people, process, and technology come together to transform collaborative project delivery. Essentially, everything that I have told about Brian is a very brief introduction to his long illustrative career in BIM. And I think today we're going to be talking a lot about what design build is, how Brian sees design build and BIM working together. And let's get started. So Brian, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate your being here.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
So I'm going to put up a screenshot of one of your presentations because I think that's a great introduction to some of the conversations that we have had in the past and some of the things that you do. So this was, I think, give me a minute here. There we go. Brian, let's just begin here. Let's talk about your role at DBIA. What is it that you're looking to do here? How do you think BIM and VDC design build process all work together?
Yeah, so my role is very new. This was a new role, a new department that the Design Build Institute created. I started back in October to start to lead this initiative. It's been interesting because the idea of BIM and VDC was a conversation that was maybe not extremely prominent within the Institute, but it's something that the membership had a desire to learn more about. And there were some collaborations that had happened in the past, and I had some other interactions with DBIA. I was in the process of becoming a DBIA certified professional. I was working on design build projects, and the timing was right, and had the opportunity to take on this role to really be able to positively impact the industry. I was working on a lot of design build projects and seeing how much more collaborative we were able to be on design build projects as compared to design build projects, design bid build, or CM at risk projects was pretty interesting. So seeing how those teams interacted and having the opportunity to merge these new technologies and project delivery, for me to take on that role was great. And now we have the opportunity to really educate the industry and our membership. Last year we had a very successful conference. This year we have some bigger things to expand the offerings and conversations that we'll have at our annual event in November. And I think some of the
event in Las Vegas, right, Brian?
Excuse me?
That's the event that's happening in Las Vegas?
Yeah, it'll be in Las Vegas, November 2nd through 4th. So we'll have a press release coming out soon here in the coming weeks about what we're planning for. So there'll be more to come, and I hope you'll be there. I hope XLIs will be there, and a lot of the listeners on this will come to attend and learn from the presentations that we'll have and all the information that we'll be able to share.
So Brian,
I think I was going to say, I think the big value there is how we interact from the outset of a project on the project delivery side. Like I said, that's kind of one of my areas of interest, and having the opportunity in this role to take that. At the Design Build Institute of America, we talk about an integrated, collaborative, whole team approach, right. And I think that ideology just marries up perfectly with BIM. We talk about being able to create information that's shareable. Yeah, so this is kind of just the basis of what is design build, and how is it different than design bid build, CM at risk, whatever other procurement methods are out there. But in design build, we talk about this project delivery method is there is the owner and another
Right.
entity, which is the design builder, and there's a single contractual relationship between those two parties. So everything funnels up to the design build team, and the opportunity in design build to have a very whole and inclusive team is one of the big opportunities there, right? You have the design and construction services all under one contract, one single contract providing architectural, engineering, and construction services allows a different level of collaboration to occur. It increases the speed of delivery, reduces the cost of delivery, increases quality, and we've seen all of these tangible benefits. And again, that's just a one-to-one with what we see with BIM. How do we, develop our projects more quickly, at a higher quality, and at a lesser cost? That's how we drive value. So being able to put those two things together is really ideal. Yeah, and I think this is really at the heart of the contractual relationships, right? Design bid build, we have 3 parties and 2 separate contracts. CM
Right.
at risk, we have 3 parties, 2 separate contracts, and an implication or that dashed line that people are going to collaborate. But again, design build, 2 parties, 1 contract, and everybody funnels up to that. So we don't have the contractual silos that tend to occur in the other delivery models. And I always think the most basic example of that is when we talk about collaborating and sharing, geometry and data in a BIM environment. You look at design bid build, project team creates a model to deliver 2-dimensional set of documents. Those documents go out to bid, the contractor comes on. The first thing that they want is they want to get their hands on that model so they can take advantage of all of that information that was created. But there's very often, a hesitation to do that. Well, wasn't under a contract to share. Our deliverable was the documents. We only made the model to produce the documents. CM at risk, that party might be there a little bit earlier, a little more willingness to share information. But when you look at a design build environment, all of those people are there at the beginning. Builder can be sharing with the design team what are the key elements that they need. And it's not a question of asking somebody to do more, but it's planning out from the outset of what's going to provide the best value for the project, what's going to expedite construction, what's going to allow us to, monitor cost more efficiently, and how do we increase quality, and, even more so, start to look at what the owner's needs are from a life cycle perspective and start planning that from the outset, because we're all there working for that same goal that's been defined.
So, Brian, moving on, I had one more question about AEC industry has been slow to adapt any new technology. And we took a real long time to go from manual drafting to CAD to BIM. And I think even now the adoption of BIM is not at that level where the industry as a whole is doing it. And we need to figure out how we can accelerate this within organizations. So definitely in the design build environment, BIM is becoming more common and it looks like a very, very natural fit. But do you have any insights on how other companies could start adopting BIM? Do you think this is a thing where mandates from the government or the federal, or I know there's some mandates from the GSA on federal projects, if owners were to mandate BIM, or what do you think would be the fastest way that we can adopt it?
I mean, yeah, certainly if there's owner mandates and that's in an RFP or an RFQ that somebody has to do that, I would even just, step back and say from a competitive advantage, you have to be able to do this, right? So many people are doing it. There's going to be a point that it's going to be that you might become a laggard in the industry and not able to deliver the same as your competition. I think that's the bigger, I don't want to say threat. That sounds bad.
I think that's right to say that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to, this is becoming an expectation. Just like you said, right? Even if it's not the owner that's requiring this, the builder is going to expect that their design professionals are delivering this, and they're expecting that they're going to be able to use it in some capacity. Yeah, that's at its basic level, that's, it's a more efficient way to work. But, there's still, I think, cost and time, some trepidation that people have about, spending money and doing that, but it's becoming the way of doing business. It's the new normal, and everybody needs to I don't say they need to change. They need to change. They're going to need to change to be competitive, or it's going to become a hindrance to their business model if they're not doing that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. Let's take another step here. There are some new technologies that are coming out there, and many of them are like the shiny object where everybody wants to reach out and try to do it. But for all of them, the foundational still remains BIM. But things like AR, VR, things like digital reality capture, drones, robotics, all of those, I think, need BIM at their core. I mean, unless you have a 3D model,
Yeah.
you can't use that. You can't do all of this with paper-based drawings or 2D designs.
Yep.
Of all these new technologies that are coming up in various domains, in project management, in project monitoring, in control, in this, are there some things that you are excited about? I want to ask you this question because you've been in the industry for so long and have been a different vantage point of seeing how technology application has changed over the last few years. So what is your feel about what people can look forward to?
Yeah, I think the idea, the way that you position BIM as being foundational to all of these other things is a key understanding. AI, augmented reality are two really important things that we're seeing. I think virtual reality was the one that really hit everybody early on, and it was like, oh, I can kind of move around, and
it always seemed like
it always seemed like augmented reality was the underutilized portion of that immersive environment that we were getting into. So being able to merge that physical and virtual was really, I think, really a compelling aspect of it. And then being able to put an AI application on the back end of that virtual environment and being able to utilize different aspects of it are important. I've seen, some of the technologies that our industry partners at DBIA are out there, what we can start to see with having a model, having a, laser scan, and being able to validate different things about those comparisons is interesting. Right now you can start to look for deviations in construction. Well, this wall was supposed to be here, why is it there? Or this mechanical system, the VAV box, was supposed to be down further, and now an AI application is catching that in advance of a coordination issue that would come down the road, that something's not installed right. Being able to track percent completions off of these models. There's so many fascinating things that these artificial intelligence applications are able to do in the background that are assisting us, and that automation and having another almost another FTE doing something in the background to help all of the work that we're doing is pretty compelling. And it's not a drone, a robot, a computer's taking my job. It's what else are they doing to be able to improve the process and make me, as the project manager, the superintendent, the designer, aware of something that I might not have caught on a first pass. And I think that's just really something that impacts, from the design to the turnover process is there and is helpful.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you. I think one of the revelations for me at the New York Expo 2022 was the amount of companies that are merging AI-based intelligence with digital reality capture.
Yes.
And I think COVID has made it clear to all of us that remote working and capturing data from sites is going to be important. And I think going forward, these are enabling technologies. I think those are the technologies that we will have to adopt because the industry needs to get more efficient. We need to build better housing, office space, whatever it is that is cheaper, faster, and environmentally safe and friendly, and so many other different factors. And all of that we can't do without these new technologies.
Yeah, I think the word that you just used was appropriate. It's an enabler, right? Because somebody still has to review the information. It's not making decisions for us.
Right.
It's providing information that enables us to make those positive decisions. Absolutely. So that's a great way to put it.
Hey, I'm glad we've had this opportunity to talk today. I know we have time limitations, so we have to keep this conversation brief. Every time I meet you, there's so much more we can talk about and discuss. But thank you so much for joining our call today. I really appreciate you taking the time. If there are questions and other issues that people would love to discuss, I think we can happily direct them to you, and sure. I'm sure you'll be able to guide them in your role of evangelizing BIM and design build.
Good. Thank you. Thanks again. I appreciate it. It was fun.